Do you know what makes your ministry more effective? Hi, this is Gina Duke with Churchtown Ministries. Thank you for tuning in to ginaduke.com. There is a passage in Acts chapter 18 that I love, and it's because it really describes how Paul, as he was, his ministry was becoming more well-formed for him, where he was most effective at. And I think that's important, that sometimes we have to realize where God's leading us, and we may go in different directions in different areas as we try to figure that out. But in this chapter, Paul really narrows the scope of where his most effective use is in ministry. So in Acts chapter 18, it says that Paul had left Athens and had went to Corinth. Now, he only had a few salvations in Athens. And I don't want to discount that, because a few souls saved, even one soul saved, that's a big deal. But as far as effectiveness in ministry, he had not been that effective in Athens. And he had told a remarkable, that's where he had probably his most remarkable message about the unknown God. You'll have to go back and read about that. But it was probably his most outstanding message, and there were few salvations. So he went to Corinth. It says there, while he was in Corinth, he went to the synagogue faithfully every Sunday, and he reasoned with the Jews and the Greeks, trying to convince them. It says that he devoted himself completely and exclusively to preaching to the Jews about the gospel message. And not only did they oppose his message, they became abusive to Paul. At that point, Paul just shook his hands of them, and he said, now I am clear about where I should go. And he was clear about who he was going to minister to next. And that was to the Gentiles, who God really called Paul to minister to, was to the Gentiles. And in the next verse, it literally says, and he left the synagogue and went next door. He just went next door. It's just that simple of a transition that he made in his ministry that became much more profitable and effective for him. Many came to know Jesus. Many Gentiles come to know Jesus just by him going next door. And it says there, for the next year and a half, he devoted himself to teaching. So he went from preaching in the synagogues every Sunday to where it was not as effective, to literally making a transition to going next door to a whole different people group, the Gentiles, and teaching them about Jesus Christ. So what I want to do, and this is kind of neat because I've never done this before, is I've added a little worksheet for you. It's just a one-pager. It has Acts 18, these few 9 verses that I've just told you about. And then in the margin, I've got some notes and some questions for you. And so I hope that you'll click on the link and work this out a little bit, and so it'll help you clarify where you may be most effective in ministry. Just kind of give you some things to think about. And as I come back with some more video blogs, I want to have some more resources for you. So get started. Thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for following me to the cross at www.ginaduke.com.